to call this
Recording in progress.
regular meeting of the Sheridan City Council to order. Today is October 16th. The time is 7 p.m. and we are in the Sheridan City Hall of Council Chambers. Roll call, please.
May I please remind everybody to turn their microphones on when you're speaking? Thank you.
You bet. Okay, roll call, please, Yvonne.
Thompson,
Here.
Aka. Here. Buckles.
Here.
McElroy.
Here.
Hebert.
Here.
George.
Here.
Hodgins. Here.
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda tonight? Sorry. Oh, yes, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Yep. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now, is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? No. Okay, great. So we'll go to the first public comment period. The public comment portion of the agenda is the opportunity for the council to listen to the public, but not for dialogue. The public is allowed up to 3 minutes to present information relevant to the city. The topic, issue brought up may be referred by the council to the city manager for inclusion on a subsequent council agenda. Council has the discretion to ask questions after comments are concluded. Please note, complaints should first be addressed to the appropriate city department and or city manager prior to directly addressing the council. And tonight we have, is it Ralph, is it Rhodia?
Correct.
Oh, great, you're first.
I'm Ralph Rodia. I represent the Oregon State Beekeepers Association. We have membership of altogether about 4,000, which includes both commercial and residential beekeepers. There's probably a couple of thousand residential beekeepers, and you probably have them in or around Sheridan, but they never tell you because you have a rule that says they can't have honeybees in Sheridan. And this is not unusual, this is very common. Okay, now, you all have a packet I brought in on Thursday, and I'm sure you've read that whole packet, and you know everything in there. Okay, but what I'm here for is two things. One, we're requesting, because we have an individual here who wants to be a legal residential beekeeper in Sheridan, that you amend that here's Sheridan Municipal Code 16.203-120B. That basically says you cannot have beekeeping in residential areas in Sheridan, because that particular portion of the code is actually dealing with farming and with livestock. But it turns out residential beekeeping isn't farming and it isn't really livestock. However, that's the code that we were told that you would use if somebody kept residential bees. So we want to clear that up. If that's not what you intend, then the code needs to be changed in any case to clarify that residential beekeeping. I'm not talking about commercial beekeeping. Residential beekeeping is usually 1 to a few hives. I myself live in Salem. I live in a residential area, and I have 3 to 5 hives. I have some additional hives when I do splits or I catch swarms, because I get calls that people get concerned about a swarm, or there's bees in the wall of their house and they want it out, or it's in a tree and they're afraid that somebody's going to get stung because they'll go mess with it. Okay, I appeared before the Planning Commission on October 9th with Amy here, and I presented the same packet that you have. It's identical, okay, except that you also have the testimony that I gave then, also in writing. I do that because I don't always remember what people say, but if it's in writing, it helps me to remember, and so I try to do that for you.
Thank you.
Now, before you make it, we want you to do not only to change the code, the municipal code, we also want you to issue a stay of your current code. That means do not enforce it until you revise the new code. And the reason is Amy here has to get fees, has to get their equipment, has to get supplies, has to assemble it all. And we always do that in the early spring, because that's when we can get our bees. We go to school, we get a mentor, we get all that done. If we don't take and stay the code, then Amy's potentially subject to citation. But, and so she would either go ahead and violate the code by doing it, or she would wait, and then by the time the planning commission and the hearings and all that gets done, that's the middle of next year, maybe. Now,
Okay.
somebody told me, no, it doesn't take that long.
So your timer went off, but I'll tell you what we will do is, the council will discuss it, and yes, we did read this. And we'll come up with some answers for you once we've had a chance to talk it over among the councilors.
Can I ask how I would find that out?
Let's see, I have your contact information here, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so we'll just let you know, just give you a call and tell you what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right. And so Amy, you're up. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amy Steck. I've been here once before. I'm here about the bees because I want to bring food security to Sheridan. I would like to be part of a food bank or a food share program. And I would like to also educate people about how that food comes to be with bees. I would like a bee haven in my yard. I own about a 1/4 acre here in town, just right here on Monroe Street on a corner lot. And I feel that, for me, one hive would do for my area and the vegetables and the fruit trees and stuff to be pollinized. Sorry, not used to public speaking.
You're doing great.
Anyway, I would really like to have a beehive, and I think that not only would it bring an educational option into Sheridan for a seed to table program, that it would help with other food security in my yard. And that's about all I have to say, because I'm shaking already.
Okay, well, I have your number too, and we'll also call you when we've had a chance to discuss it, and let you know how that goes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So this is Derek Bryant.
I threw my phone first.
Oh, sure.
We could like do
Exactly,
something
I see, I
together.
have it here.
Is
So
that
you're
okay?
Kirstin King.
Yes, we're
Okay.
talking about the same thing, so we'll
Okay.
do it together, is that
Sure.
6 minutes.
okay?
Three
And
apiece, right?
we have
Yes.
some copies of what we have here, if you guys want a copy, that's fine, if not, that's fine.
My name's Derek Bryant, and I lease the piece of property on Highway 18B, 17 acres. I wrote you guys a letter last week, and I'm just a little concerned that I wasn't given a very fair chance on negotiating a new lease with the city of Sheridan. I have been leasing it for, I think it's roughly about 6 years, and I started leasing it through the Deans, and then you guys gave me the opportunity to renew that lease into my name and Alan Seckman, Cutting and Seckman. And so I went to the city hall about mid-August, right before a council meeting, and I talked to Heidi Bell about renewing the lease, and she told me that it would be, she couldn't get it in on that particular meeting because it was too close in time to get it on the agenda. So she said she would put it on the September 18th agenda for the council to discuss. What's that? 18th. And and she wrote, she gave me a card with the date on there and everything. So I watched the council meeting on Zoom, and it was never brought up about my contract. Yeah, you can read, and, yeah, Kirstin can
I'll
read
read
the
this
letter.
real quick, because some of the stuff he's saying is in here, so I don't wanna double up on our time here, if that's okay with you guys. My name's Kirstin King, I'm a resident of Sheridan as well. It says, council members, thank you for taking this time, all of you guys, to address this issue, I know you guys are busy. For those who don't know, he already said it, but this is Derek Bryant, he's the owner of Derek Bryant Farms, he's been there his whole life. Derek Bryant Farms is a small family-operated farm. He's been contracted with the city for the past 3 years directly to farm the tax lot R5633-0900. Before that, he subleased the property to the previous tenant. Recently, we feel that a lack of clear and precise communication has resulted in what can be a really unfortunate situation all around, especially for us. This farm is vital to the well-being of our family. It's essential to the welfare of our business to be able to plan and prepare up to a year in advance for a crop. Each year, there's a large variety of investments and expenses to ensure a healthy crop and improve the quality of the ground to reach a peak yield, which takes multiple years. With the inflation rates, COVID's halt on import, the rising interest rates, and the decrease in manufacturing and the cost of doing this has been very, very high. He's invested in ag line, weed and brush, and pest control, and paid a lofty amount for the seed and cultivation of the crop. The crop on this property is a contracted grass seed that a separate company owns. He has spent the last few years developing the crop and investing in elevating the soil and the property's value. The contract is up for renewal at the end of September. There is no communication with us on the lease renewal by the end of August. And so he went to the city offices at the beginning of September and spoke to the city manager, Heidi, about renewing the contract. She said she would talk to the council about it and put it on the September 18th city council agenda for review. When the meeting date came, nothing about the contract was discussed with the council members. In fact, it wasn't on the agenda to our knowledge, which I did look before this meeting, and I believe that's correct. Naturally, he was concerned, and he called the next day on September 19th and talked to the receptionist at City Hall. She said Heidi would update by phone on the 21st. He received no communication. He gave a week's grace period for communication, and there was none. So he called twice on Friday, September 29th, and there was no answer. He resorted to calling Heidi's cell phone number, and she answered and said the rental property would be put up for bid. This is our issue. Being notified that a farm lease won't be renewed on the day before the lease ends, unfortunately gives no time to prepare for a possible bidding war, financially or in any other way. It is also doesn't allow time for a farmer to plant a separate crop to ease the financial loss for a small family farm. There's never been any complaints about how Derek Bryant Farms tends to the property or does the business, so he understood that the partnership between his farm and the city to be dependable, professional, and mutually beneficial. It's common to renegotiate terms, including rent amount for the lease, for multi-year lease agreements during times of inflation. So we were to expect that with all the inflation and everything going up, our rent lease costs could go up as well. If we had been given, we feel like we've been given no opportunity to negotiate the contract renewal. We were just told dead flat, it's up for bid. If we had been given a 20-day notice before the contract ended, we would have taken the democratic opportunity of speaking to you guys at the September 18th City Council meeting to bring this up to the council a lot sooner, as in before the lease had actually ended. If the issue is need to increase rent, we ask that the city council and the city manager just reconsider putting the contract up for bid due to our investment and negotiate the cost. If the issue is a result of our fault in some way, then we ask to, communicate what that issue is and give us, for our contract, section 11.1, the 20 days to adjust that, and then maybe consider renewing the contract. We also feel that if you guys choose to move forward, years of tremendous investment, hard work, and sacrifice that have gone into cultivating this now established crop could go to another farmer who will reap the benefit of our personal family's investment sacrifices. Lastly, I hope that the city council and the city manager will seriously consider the varieties of ways this will affect the farm, the family, and people of the community, and the city's reputation when it comes to doing business with local farmers. Thank you guys for your time, and you have a copy of the lease and a copy of that letter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
may I ask a couple questions?
Yes.
What's the status currently? Do you have a crop on that land right now?
Yeah, it's stall
We
fence.
do. Yeah.
I'm not good with that, but I understand you got a crop.
It's grassy, yeah.
It's
Okay,
grassy
grassy.
crop, yes, it comes out.
It's the lowest level. You said you had a lease for that farm for 6 years. The first of those, first 3 of those 6 years was from somebody else.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
was,
sublease.
yeah, it was
yes,
a
from the
sublease.
previous
Okay,
Yeah.
tenant.
and how was that handled? Just when it ended, the city came in and said, oh, hey, we need to get a new contract? Is that
Yeah.
what happened?
Yep, and I got that through Walt.
Right, I remember, because I was here when that was going on, and I remember Walt negotiating the contract.
And I also asked like Walt at the time if I could get 5 years on it. He said, no, let's do 3 years and see how it goes. And then in good faith,
Oh,
I was expecting that we'd just
And we said,
keep leasing it, you know?
our understanding was that if the conversation was, can we do 5 instead of 3? In our mind, at least rationally, we would say, okay, if the answer is, let's see how it goes. That is telling us that it's an option. It's an option to either renew the lease, right? But it seems as though there was never that option, or we were under the impression that if all is well, we do our part, we pay on time, and there's no changes, that we would have the opportunity to renew.
And I also think like if it was for like a bid, you know, if I didn't want to lease.
More questions?
I would like to hear about the bid, if I may. I know I'm taking the time, I apologize for that, but I want to
Yeah,
know. what
if,
we're
I
talking
mean,
about.
if it was, up for bid, and I kinda lost my train of thought there for a second,
Appreciate that.
but, if like, let's say I came into you guys and said, hey, I don't wanna lease this anymore, I would say, yeah, you know, it could go up for bid, you know, but if I wanna lease it, I mean, I would think I'd have an opportunity for the crop, you know?
I need to stop it, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, we will now consider approving the city council meeting minutes for September 5th, 2023, September 18th, 2023, October 2nd,
Do we
2023.
have any other public comments?
Not that that's
There was one,
Oh.
a late arrival, she's willing to wait till the end of the meeting, but it's up to you,
Okay.
Mayor. I'll pass that around.
Thank you. Okay.
And nobody online, did we ask online?
Is there anyone online?
There's a lot of people online, so I'm not
Like-
sure.
Looks like Jason had her hand on.
That was my little cursor guy, so. thought I'd go.
Okay. Okay. Ruby, would you rather speak now or wait till the end of the meeting?
I would rather speak now if that's
Okay.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay. My timer going?
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Ruby Ramirez. I am a constituent of Sheridan resident.
Sorry, Ruby.
No, you're thank you. I just came here today just in support of a resource center, for our houseless neighbors. Just wanted to throw in my support of that. But I also wanted to remind, residents that we have a school board meeting tomorrow at 6 at the district office. The Sheridan Tree of Giving is doing a fundraiser, a bingo fundraiser on October 28th at the lodge, next to Center Market. And the doors open at 5:30 and the games begin at 6:30. It's for our holiday program to provide gifts for children in need in the community of Sheridan. And our applications are also open, so I just wanted to remind everyone, if you know of a family in need, you can direct them to our Facebook page. The West Valley Bulletin Board also has our application, so does the library. And then we'll make a notice or announcement when we have tags for people to purchase. And then there is a choir concert tomorrow for the school and a band concert on Thursday, so just more opportunities for the community to show support of children. I don't have children myself, but I serve on the board, just because I want the children of Sheridan, you know, to have bright futures and know that the community supports them regardless of, you know, if they have children or not. So thank you for your time.
You are just a wealth of information, Ruby, thank you.
Mayor, thank you, real quick. School board meeting's on Wednesday.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I think you said tomorrow, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
it's on Wednesday.
In my
Thank
brain,
you.
tomorrow was Wednesday. Sorry.
We'll be closed tomorrow. So.
okay, so now, the only other one I have is Margaret, I think you want to wait to the end, right? All right, so now let's decide whether or not we're gonna approve the council meeting minutes for September 5th, September 18th, and October 2nd.
I would make a motion that the city council approve the council meeting minutes for September 5th, 2023, September 18th, 2023, and October 2nd, 2023 is presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, now, we will review the voucher directory for invoices paid from September 18th, 2023 to October 16th, 2023.
I would make a motion, we accept the voucher directory for invoices paid for September 18th to October 16th, 2023 is presented.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, now it's time for our department reports. Let's see, the sheriff's report, finance. For the first two, I think both were included in our packet. But we have a presentation from acting public works director Gary. Are you here?
Come on up, Gary. So just for clarification, Mayor, there was no questions from the counselors on the budget reports? There's no questions on the budget reports? Usually it's.
So Gary, did you have any kind of report tonight?
You have just the report I turned in.
Okay.
Anything further, unless you guys have questions?
Anybody have questions for Gary at Public Works?
Been busy.
Thank you.
I can tell.
Oh,
Okay. Yes,
I wasn't paying attention, especially, that says you purchased one of your budgeted vehicles and outfitted it. What did you get?
Was it a 2023 Toyota Tacoma?
And it was within what was budgeted, I imagine?
Yep. We're under budget by a few hundred, but it's been outfitted, so we can get up to Stony if we need to, or check the spring line, or.
That's perfect, I just hadn't remembered that we had budgeted for a vehicle. That's right, thank you.
We're working on several other deals too.
I don't have a question.
Liz.
I don't have a question, but thank you for leveling the dog park at the end of Jefferson Street. I went down there with my dogs and they were so happy.
Yeah, Dave did a great job with the cat on that one.
Yeah, and then I actually do have a question. Do we have the fencing, to put the fencing around it?
I don't believe we do at the moment.
Okay, so does it need to be measured?
You'll have to check with the dog park committee
Yeah.
on, yeah.
Okay, hello.
Yeah, I don't know
All right,
if you guys
Okay, thank
measured it
you.
or not. Yeah, check with Omega, she keeps good, good policies.
okay.
Or Kay.
Yeah. Okay, are you there? Do you know?
We also, in other news, repaired the boom truck and it is outfitted and ready to roll. Right, Gary?
Yep, we've got all the safety equipment. I believe there's 9 people that are certified now to go up in the bucket, so we can start using that now.
Yep.
Great.
And they practiced a couple times, which is good before you go out into operation.
I'm not planning on ever going up, but I'll watch from the ground, make sure they do it right.
We also, I appreciated the pictures that the team took to put in this year. Your time to do that.
That Hill Street storm repair looked like a job.
Yes, that was a fairly big job. We utilized a local contractor to help us get it dug out, and then once we got it opened up, we made the decision to cap it, because it went to nowhere. That we believe is an old pipe that was never capped right.
Have we done some repairs on Evans Street too? Water?
Yes, we did. We fixed two water leaks on Evans, I believe. On the north and south side of Evans. We fixed two service saddles blew off the main.
That was through the property moving or land moving, is that right?
Yeah.
All right, anybody else? Thanks, Gary.
Yep.
I couldn't see whether Gwen is there.
Gwen is, yes.
Gwen is here.
She's zooming in tonight.
Okay, Gwen, I'm just checking to see if you have anything in addition to your report tonight.
She was there.
She's
Okay.
there.
Yes. I just would like to add, our programming has been going great at the library. The story time, we had 18 people there for the movie Igor played.
When you're breaking up.
15. Oh, that's awful. We had 15 join, over 50 people paid Saturday.
Gwen, it sounds like good information, but you're really breaking up, I'm sorry. You wanna get to a
I'm
different
sorry.
place maybe? And then we'll skip you and come back?
Okay.
Oh, it's our internet connection, Yvonne. This happened to me the other day in this room. We had to switch to my personal phone for internet service.
Oh, you're kidding.
Because our hotspot is one of the expired ones. Would you
Yeah,
like
they're
to
all
use,
expired now, Marcy said.
would you like to use my,
It's showing that we have
Okay,
decent.
so we'll get back to Gwen. Where is she there?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
yes.
Okay. I don't know what all you caught. Our programming has been going great. We've had great numbers. We had 18
This is what
on,
happened.
You're cutting out
Can
again,
you-
Gwen.
Yeah.
okay.
Hold on, Gwen, and everybody on the phone. So you'll have to just try my phone.
You're the iPhone too?
Yes.
Oh, and that's, oh, everybody knows to go to use this one, right? Okay,
Okay.
we're on.
Okay. Are you ready to try again, Gwen?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Okay. So programming numbers have been up. This last week, we had 18 join us for story time. We had 15 join us for the Igor movie that was played on Friday afternoon. And we had over 50 people join us for painting pumpkins on Saturday.
Wow.
Nice.
So, yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah.
Good.
Great.
So I just wanted to let you guys know those awesome numbers we have for programming.
Thank you.
How's October going?
It's going pretty good.
You got a full box of socks over there yet?
We have close,
Okay, good.
so we're trying as hard as we can to be undefeated in this quest.
I knew that was gonna come up.
Good luck, Gwen. You're building a lot of good work, so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, does anyone have any questions on the code enforcement and safety reports?
No,
Yes, Liz?
no questions, but way to go, Daisha. I mean, this report's wonderful. The numbers are good and closing cases and it looks good.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, the numbers are great, especially the one that say there's actually been a citation issued, and we'll get that straightened out in court, I think, like that. What I was wondering though, and I know we've asked a lot of Dacia to add more things to this, I think it would be nice to know, when did, the violation start? Are we looking at 3 months, 6 months? I mean, because we've got no idea other than when they're being looked at again, which is fine, it'd be nice to know how long they've been on the books.
Okay, and Heidi?
Yeah, the mayor and I spoke about that this afternoon. That's one thing that we can look into providing. It is gonna require some, what do you call it, coding essentially from the company to develop the report readout, and there's a lot to it. So what the mayor and I thought would be nice too is to have Daisha invited to one of our work sessions so that we can have a really good conversation with her and you can learn more about code enforcement.
Yeah, we thought maybe it would be helpful for all of us, since we have said that code enforcement is one of our top priorities, and so we thought it would be nice to know all the steps that go into it. you know, from the time that she sees a violation, contacts the person, tries to work with them to get compliance, and just kind of tell us how she does all of that. So I thought that would be interesting for all of us. And is somebody up there?
No, I just wanted to say one last thing.
Oh,
I got
okay.
a little bit more
I
to
thought
that.
you were pointing at the board.
No, it's like, we also have, Dacia has written a informational sheet that goes into the bulletin, and then it also additionally has a kind of a picture graph for people to follow, and so we will be emailing those out to you so that you can see those.
That would be great.
But she does every other, edition, whatever, of the bulletin board. We rotate between a resource article and a code article, so that we're boosting that information in the community.
That'd be great. And Jim?
Well, Liz pointed out the closed ones do have a created date on it, so we get a good estimate of how long it took to get them closed. So hopefully.
Oh, I see,
It
yeah.
wouldn't be too much of a hassle to, get that figured out in the software.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. City recorder report.
I don't think I have anything to add unless
Yeah.
if somebody has questions. Pretty much the calendars, I think, are your big focus, especially understanding the crazy holiday season this year.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne. And the city planner, I think that's just there to read. How about, you, Tyler, do you have a report tonight?
Yeah. Been busy, lots of time with Gary. Gary's been keeping me busy. We have a big sewer ordinance later on tonight. That took a fair bit of time. With Yvonne's help after the last council meeting, we were also able to find the information from the golf cart question that came up. And that is golf carts, sorry Heidi, cannot be allowed to be driven on city streets, only for cities that have a golf course. Pretty discriminatory, in my opinion.
What about a disc golf?
Yeah, that's not a good. Yes, Heidi.
In addition, did you receive the information from the Public Works Department about what the classification of that vehicle is?
No.
So further discussion.
Yes, so that was the second half of that report. There are lots of categories of non-regular vehicles that are allowed to be driven on local streets with certain speeds. So we may be able to utilize the not golf cart library. I have no idea what it is. To be
Library
honest.
book delivery vehicle,
Yeah.
that's not a golf cart. Just saying.
Just rename.
That actually.
Then also been busy with lots of employment matters.
We're ready to move on to our ordinance and resolutions. First, we have ordinance 2023-04, an ordinance amending chapters 13.12.260 of the municipal code relating to sewer user fees. So that is this one here. So on August 21st, 2023, the city council received a report from Steve Donovan Enterprises Incorporated, on the performance of the enterprise funds. The report analyzed the past performance and projected future performance from 2024 through 2029 and proposed a 3.49% rate increase based upon financial modeling that assumes the city will be incurring increased water quality monitoring and testing costs as mandated by the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality and the continued cost of the Yamhill Street and East Main Street sewer improvement projects. Mr. Donovan recommended no water use fee increases for 2024. The first and second reading of this ordinance took place on September 18th, 2023. Tonight is the third and final reading for the adoption of the ordinance.
I'd like to make a motion that we read ordinance 2023-04, an ordinance amending chapters 13.12.260 and 13.12.150 of the Sheridan Municipal Code relating to sewer user charges. Third reading by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote by show of hands. Unanimous?
Excellent. Ordinance number 2023-04, an ordinance amending chapter 13.4.260 of the Municipal Code relating to sewer user charges.
I'll make a motion, we accept the final reading of the ordinance.
I second it.
Okay, any other discussion? Recorder, excuse me, Yvonne, could you take the vote?
Acuff,
Yes?
Buckles,
Aye.
McElroy,
Yes.
Hebert, George,
Aye.
Hodges.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, then we'll move on to ordinance 2023-05, an ordinance amending title 13 of the Sheridan Municipal Code relating to authorized discharges to the public sewer. An ordinance amending title 13 of the Sheridan Municipal Code relating to authorized discharges to the public sewer. This ordinance would amend title 13 of the SMC relating to authorized discharges to the public sewer, specifically for industrial pretreatment, meaning that industrial businesses cannot put certain byproduct waste down the drain and into the city sewer system without putting modifications within their own buildings or property before it enters the city sewer system. Tonight, the council may introduce ordinance 2023-05 with two readings.
Do we have any background on this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question, Liz?
I was gonna move that we,
Oh, okay.
I move to introduce ordinance 2023-04, an ordinance amending title 13 of the Sheridan Municipal Code relating to the authorized discharges to the public sewer to be read by title only.
Thank you. Any discussion? Jim?
Don't you need a second before I can discuss?
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Is that a second?
I'll second it, then I'll make
Okay,
it.
sorry. Go
I've
ahead.
got two questions. And did you put this together, is that what I understood?
With lots and lots of help from Gary.
Good job.
Yeah, I'll tell you the true story when I get up my questions. It says that detergents that might cause excessive foaming in the public sewer aren't allowed. And how would I, as a citizen, know how much is excessive, I guess? I mean, our dishwasher drains into the sewer, our washer drains into the sewer. Are we, breaking the law, or is there a super duper sudsy stuff that we don't wanna do?
You are not breaking the law as far as I'm aware based on the facts recited to me, Councilor Buckles. That is, any residential detergents would not be causing issues. This is more geared towards industrial uses that would be discharging substantially more of any of the products that we're regulating into our sewer system.
Okay.
I have another one. This one is on page 96 of 200 in their paragraph B. It's the last line in that paragraph. A record of disposal shall be submitted to the city of McMinnville for review within 15 days. Why is McMinnville reviewing our disposal record?
Lots and lots of different codes to make this.
That we did. I thought I caught them all.
Oh, so it should say
So it should say Sheridan.
Sheridan. There we go. Thank you.
Yes.
And now I would like to admit, I didn't QA the rest of it, Tyler, because I honestly fell asleep while reading it.
Because you were so relieved that our sewer system is well protected.
Oh, as I read through, I had so much confidence I could count it off. My wife claims I have quite a nice nap, I disagreed, but yeah, I just didn't get it. At least I found something worthwhile too.
Okay, Roxy?
Maybe you can kind of explain this process to me. When an industrial company comes to us and applies for either a building permit or a business, obviously they don't have business licenses, there must be some process that they need to come to City Hall, and do we require a permit? Is that part of this?
Yes.
Okay, and that permit would require that they do testing? that meet certain requirements, or?
They provide us the information so that we know how and what we would need to regulate based on what type of business they are. And that would include test results of their discharge, if they are
Heidi?
creating districts.
The city engineer's office usually gets involved at that point too, and so does the DEQ. So there's a lot of places to lean on for that information. And our public works director and our public works staff of the sewer system has a lot of that background and knowledge. But in not regulating industrial waste is a very large concern for keeping the health and the safety of your wastewater treatment, the whole program going. So it is critical, especially if we're going to start to consider, any sort of byproducts from wine or beer, but also as you start to move in, maybe into the future of having food processing, that's the one I have seen a lot, or industrial. Some of the large manufacturing companies, when they start to do like steel and stuff, you have to be really careful about what people are putting down the drain, because just a little bit of that can change the whole chemical component of what you're doing.
Do we have any existing businesses that are
Well,
falling into this?
we're working on, and we have gained compliance with some of the, what's called FOG, so that's fats, oils, and grease. In the downtown, you see that a lot with restaurants or like delis, that kind of stuff. So you have to be really careful about that too, because it can clog up all the pipes, just like, like your heart, really.
So is this, they will be grandfathered in, they will be
Yeah.
held accountable as soon as this ordinance is passed?
Yes, everybody- To my knowledge, we have resolved the issues that existed, that we had a couple years ago. I am not aware of any other industrial treatment that's going on, or any industrial discharge, yes, that needs to be treated, that's happening. And companies are aware of this, some people may say, oh, this is, not pro-business, but when those companies know that they're gonna have to do some sort of a pre-treatment because of that, that's built into their business plan.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Well, I applaud this action, especially that it's, for companies that exist, that they still have periodic checks on what they're discharging into the sewer, and I think that's really great. I read through it carefully, if you believe that, because it's pretty boring, but. But I thought, this is great, this is a stopgap for a lot of things, and what we just had happen, so it's very good. Good job, Tyler.
Mostly Gary.
Okay.
No other comments? Okay, let's, those in favor, please vote by the show of hands. Unanimous.
Thank you, council, for not having this one be the first one I had to read in its entirety.
Yeah, that would have been pages and pages.
Jim would have had a long nap.
Right.
The rules are for all of us. Ordinance 2023-05, an ordinance amending Title 13 of the Sheridan Municipal Code relating to authorized discharges to the public sewer.
I make a motion, we introduce ordinance 2023-04, second reading by title only.
First reading first. Okay, I see it here.
Okay, so made a motion to accept it. Okay, so now we need the roll call, what do you want?
We need the motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept the reading.
Second.
First reading.
Perfect.
Okay.
Acuff,
Yes.
Buckles,
Aye.
McElroy,
Yes.
Hebert,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Hodges.
Aye.
Now I make a motion to introduce ordinance 2023-04, second reading by title only.
Second.
Yes, Pam?
Tyler, is it 04 or 05?
It is 05.
I was, it's,
Uh,
that's probably.
She actually whispered 4+1.
Denny saw it.
Any other comments please vote in favor with show of hands. Unanimous?
Ordinance number 2023-05, an ordinance amending Title 13 of the Sheridan Municipal Code relating to authorized discharges to the public sewer.
Make a motion, we accept the reading.
Second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Yvonne.
Acuff,
Yes?
Hebert,
Aye.
Buckles,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
McElroy,
Yes.
Hodgins.
Aye, sorry.
Passes unanimously. The final reading is set for November 20, 2023. Thank you. Okay, so the next vote is on resolution 2023-HH, a resolution amending chapter 1 of the council rules of procedure relating to general governance of regular meetings of the council.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2023-HH, a resolution amending chapter 1 of the council rules of procedure relating to general governance of regular meetings of the council.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion on this? We have gone through this several times, haven't we? Are we finally ready to? Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and vote then. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. It was, but I think it's good. All right, the next thing we're gonna discuss is our community grants. So for those of you visiting us tonight, the city of Sheridan has a budget of $2,500 that is used to fund community, things that are for the community good. And so the most that an organization can request is $500 per organization. And normally, that works out pretty well. Tonight, we have had far more requests for funds than we normally do. We have, and here's what they are. So the Sheridan Rotary Club is requesting $500 for its free movies for the community. And for those who don't know what that is, that's once a month. It's free to everyone. Their family movies, their first run is all no cost. And so they seek sponsorship through both advertising and grants like this. And Rotary funds that they have raised too. So that's, they would like $500 for the movies. And then West Valley Community Campus, they have the wet season music. And they would like, they request $500 grant for that. And West Valley Community Campus asked for an additional $500 grant for repair they're doing to a wall at the community center there. Our Sheridan Parks, our gardens, what's the proper name?
Friends of Sheridan Parks and Rec.
Friends of Sheridan Parks and Rec. Okay, they're requesting $500 for supplies and things that they need for the new community garden out on Sheridan Road. And then there's more. So the Sheridan is getting time to gear up for the Sheridan Chamber of Commerce Halloween that they have at the high school. I think they call it the Haunted High School. And they normally get about 600 kids, and they get different people around town to donate. You know, usually they ask for like $50, and I know that it's a very well attended and fun party for the kids. And then also Willamina, their trick or treat, they are seeking a donation of $100, and what that is it they invite Sheridan to that, and so they're asking for 100. Sheridan's only asking for 50, but we can work this money out in a minute. And also a chaplain came to help our staff through kind of a rather rough time for them, and we would like that person who does that service he kind of relies on donations for his services to support himself and his family. And then, also, we would like to, it has been suggested that we contribute to the people of Maui, who have just endured that horrific fire. So there's like, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 requests. And so how, there's a lot of different ways we could go about handling the situation. And Jim?
I did read the things that you put on after. What page is that information on, besides the primary ones that have requested a grant?
Well, on page 153, it shows the one for the chaplain and for the city of Willamina. And then yes, Pam?
Maybe it would help to clarify that there is the community grants, and so we had 4 for the, technically for the community grants. Those are separate than the other considerations. Does that help
Yes.
clarify?
It doesn't,
Okay.
where
So
would the,
this one here on page 151 lists the 4 organizations that have gone through the application to fill out the community grants.
Right.
So we can start there. And then the other donations are ones that have come in or been requested. So for instance, the Maui one was requested by your planning commissioner, or a planning commissioner who raised it to the planning commission, who then the planning commission asked the city council to consider it. So not necessarily a community grant application. The city has historically given to the chamber for the haunted house at the high school that they put on. They did not fill out the community application, but they did send a letter of request.
So are you saying
So
those
$50.
things could come from the general fund then? Or-
No, they would still come from this same budget line.
Okay,
And so you have $2,000 of requests from the community grants. You have a total of $2,500 every quarter, meaning there's still a $500 that is not requested for. So the opportunity is for these other donations to use that $500 if you'd like.
and then,
Does that help clarify?
Yes.
yeah, Jim?
just doing the quick math in my head, if we grant the 4 application requests, we've got basically $500 left for the other requests. $100 to the city of Willamina is what this one says for the trunk or treat. It doesn't say anything about the,
Oh, the
Sheridan.
Sheridan one came in late this afternoon.
okay, so that's an extra $100, okay?
Yeah,
The chamber.
And then, okay, so there's actually $200 there, is that right? I mean, one for the chamber and one for the trunk or treat?
and
And the volume.
you can actually allocate these funds however the council chooses. So say
I'm
that,
just asking what we got in front of us for requests or people that would like us to help, which we're obviously going to do. But either way, doing the quick math that I did, assuming, which is a rash assumption, that we do agree to pass the 4 applicants' requests, and when we get down to the other donation considerations, and we like to stay local, that's one of the things we talked about, so $200 for Willamina and the Sheridan High School, $300 for the chaplain, that could have, in theory, based on this paragraph, that other people wanted $3,000 for a similar service, so $300 is a bargain. That doesn't leave us any money to send to Maui.
so there's a couple things, another option might be to grant Willamina one of the 2 and put the other one off until the next quarter, and then use that money, so, and get.
So there's requests from chamber for certain, I just wanna make sure I have the
Yeah, you want
additional requests. So there's the one for the high school, there's Willamita's requesting it, and then the request for the chaplain, then what's the 4th one?
Maui, yeah.
So that was the 4th one?
Yeah. So on page 153 of your packet, let's put the Maui one aside for just a second, okay? So you have $300 for the chaplain service, and you have $100 for Willamina, because they do a trunk or treat over there, and our kids go over there.
And then we've got an additional one from the chamber for $100. For the high school, it's like, I think Kim Green helps put it on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a,
And it's like a big
Halloween in the hall.
haunted house hallways, yes, and so that's $100. We're getting those, I think, confused because they're both for Halloween and both for candy, right? But one's the chamber and one's the haunted hallway thing. And then the $300, so that equals 500, but the mayor and I have some pretty, I would say, fun, Jim, some ideas
Oh,
for
my
the Maui.
I know about
I
your
go, do
son.
you wanna share about the ideas for the Maui stuff, or you want me
You
to?
go right ahead.
Okay, so as a Rotary member, and some of us are in this room, we, at Rotary, out of our own pockets, we spin a wheel and we have to put in 50, well, it's never 50 cents, it's like $1 to $5 of things that we have to do. It's called the fine can, and the fine can goes monthly for some sort of thing, organization or program, or even an individual sometimes, gets the award of the fine can. So I thought it might be fun, Jim, to challenge the Rotary to see how much they could raise from their fine can, and or the chamber to see how much they can raise in their own organization, and see how much money we can come up with from the city of Sheridan. And we can either, there's 3 different ways, and so we can put this off, right? I know that people in Maui would really love to have the funds.
They're gonna need money
But,
for years.
yeah, that's, yes, and so we've done a little bit of research for you. We have found there's 6 different rotaries in Maui. However, Yvonne found this, and it's really neat, the, where was it, San Francisco?
Yeah,
The San Francisco Rotary has established a specific fund for Rotaries to give to the Rotary in Maui, and so they know that all that money is what that's for. So that's an established relationship, so that feels like a pretty comfortable one. And then I was reading a magazine this weekend, and I found this one. Yes, some of us still get magazines in the mail.
Well,
So this one is called Maui Strong Fund, and Yvonne researched this one too. The only, they do not take any of the proceeds, which you know is common, like on GoFundMe and stuff, or I think that's the one that takes some of the proceeds. If it's not, I apologize, GoFundMe. And then this one is, to donate. I think you have this in front of you, or did we just make one?
yes, I.
So that's in front of you to look at, and then, but the con with this one, Yvonne found, is that some people say it can take a little while for the actual people in need to get the money. And then Tyler, take it away.
There is also Lions Clubs, our Lions Clubs in Maui, and the state level organization, also has a donation site available. The
So,
Lions Club is better than Rotary.
sounds like we're challenging the Lions Club and MAC to also be a part of this. You
We
fell
are
for the
doing
trick? Oh, well. You already gave. You wanna be challenged again by Sheridan, City of Sheridan? Anyways, so, so that's one way to approach it. So you can delay this so that you can do all your local donations.
It sounds like then, maybe for now, what I'm hearing is that we turn the contribution to Maui, which sounds like everyone wants to do, but put it in the hands of like, you know, Rotary and the chamber and things like that to kind of raise funds for it. And we'll know how that worked out, and then maybe in the next quarter,
You're right, December
when we
27th.
don't have as many requests, we can go ahead and, as the city of Sheridan, donate to that. Does that sound like a good idea? Roxy?
It does. I also notice on our community grant applications, 2 of them are coming from the West Valley Community Campus. Don't we usually limit them 500 a quarter? Is there something?
I wondered about that. I know it's for 2 different things, but it is one organization, so how does the council feel about that? Should we be able to accept, Denny,
I think it's one grant per,
per organization?
Yes.
Okay.
I wondered about
Is everybody kind of?
no, I agree.
Give us more
I
information.
think technically it does not say that it does not say that in the rules that we've designed. That may feel comfortable to people, but technically I read over this several times. Did you see it?
No, the heart, it's like up to $500 for a grant, but it doesn't say how, so like, the cheerleaders, if they're doing camp, for example, they could ask for $500 for a camp grant, but maybe they're also buying uniforms and they could put in, so I guess we didn't narrow it down quite that tight.
Okay, how does the
But
council
ju-
feel? We can.
All I was going to say is that it is not explicitly a rule, but these are all discretionary
Yeah.
by the council.
Yeah.
So if that's what the comfort level is.
Jim?
Well, I think, yeah, what Tyler just said, yeah, the rules don't say you can't apply twice for two different projects, but we as a council go, sorry, you get one bite of the apple and come back next quarter.
So do we hold the application over, or do we ask them to apply again next quarter?
My opinion, if you want, if that's what you're asking, my opinion is have them request it again, maybe somebody else gave them some funds and they don't necessarily need the funds that they're asking for right now.
Okay. Does anybody have a comment?
Now, the other option is they give $250 to
Each project?
each project. That would be a way to go there.
Help them fund both projects, okay.
Well, when we give them the money, I guess we don't make them prove what they spend it on, so.
Oh, that, we agree with, don't we? Yeah, we're always supposed to give, within 90 days, get a report back of,
Okay.
what they used the money for.
Kim?
I mean, we don't have, say we only give 500 to one of the West Valley community projects, then what do we do with the other 500?
That's what we were talking about as far as the next page on, the $100 at the high school and.
That's what our extra 500 is, it, or is this?
So that was 1, 2, 3, or so it'd be 2,000, 2,000. With Rotary, with one for West Valley Community Campus Parks, and the chaplain with the trunk or treats in Willamette and Sheridan, that totals $2,000.
I'd like to say all the items on L2, other donation considerations, are just random numbers I assigned, so don't feel attached.
Okay?
No feelings hurt here. But I know that everybody would like more than less.
Yeah, so I think that we should give the same amount of trick or treat funds to the trunk or treat in Willamette and Sheridan, even though Sheridan only asked for 50 and Willamette asked for 100. What would you guys like to give those to?
Clarification, Willamette did not ask.
Oh, they did not, I'm
We
sorry.
did not, but we have historically given them
That's
money,
right.
because there was like this back and forth that was
Yeah.
supposed to happen, and then it really has just fallen all on Willamette, and they continue to do it, and so instead of us doing it, we've been giving them money for it.
And they welcome Sheridan entries, and I know the Rotary had a big pirate ship in it last year. It was a really nice event. Jim?
I move to award the Sheridan Community Development Grant to $500 to the Sheridan Rotary Club, $500 to the Friends of Sheridan Parks and Recreation,
Okay.
$250 to the West Community Campus for their wall replacement on the VOAG building, $250 for the wet season music sponsorship. And then after we decided to like that, then we can decide what we have left to apply to the other donation considerations.
We're at 1,500 at that point,
That's correct.
okay, and so now we need to decide about the chaplain.
But I'll need a second on that. That's my motion is,
Oh,
let's
I
take care of
second
our, let's take care of our grants first and then worry about additional
okay,
requests.
all right. I have a motion, do I have a second? Oh, you seconded his, okay, sorry. Those in favor?
No, discussion.
I'm just kidding. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, I need to go restart my engine.
So,
Okay.
I have a problem with the garden club, community garden. How many members are on that? Do we know? 3. How many thousands of dollars have we spent on that? Between the 10,000? 10,000 for 3 people.
Wasn't that with the fencing and, well,
Yes.
Pay for that. And the water and
The water, the fence, the electricity.
Yeah,
I have a little problem with that, that's all. I think we've given a lot of money to 3 people. And So I'm not really in favor of giving any more money right now to the garden.
Thank you for that, because
I'm gonna complain too.
completely understand that. However, they submitted their receipts and they are preparing for a community garden for next spring and next year. So it's not like it's going to 3 people, it is for the community. I understand what you're saying, completely understand, but in, you know, they are preparing, they're putting down the, what is the block, the cloth, you know, the fabric and building the beds and getting a garden ready for the community. So, you know, I mean, this is entirely council decision, but I just wanted to point that out.
The Rotary, just last week, I'm trying to read the check, I can't read it, but I believe the Rotary gave them $300 and some odd from the fine can. So the Rotary is kind of chipped in to help the Sheridan Parks and Recreation. Yet the Rotary would like some money to help with their movies, so it's like, how many friends of the Sheridan City Parks do we have to, you know, they're getting money from a lot of people, which that's fine, but it doesn't always have to be us for me. I guess I'm kind of agreeing with what Danny said.
Okay, then,
So how many members were there for last year's garden? Because I could hardly even see a garden in there last year. I'm just curious, how many?
I'm not certain. I don't think there were anything in the garden last year.
So,
okay,
okay, well, I'm having a hard time.
okay, I'm listening.
So, I mean, I'm glad that you said something about that, but I don't have really an issue with the garden people, because I understand where he's coming from, and I understand where you're coming from, and I think the little garden people, you know, they're older, and they need to recruit some people in the garden club, and I think that fire should be put under them to let them know, hey, look, we're doing this, because, you know, you're kind of doing it on a trial run, and they haven't even had a whole year for this new location. So, I mean, they could advertise to the apartments that are right next to them. You know, they need to do something on their own to get the word out to the people. But I don't have a problem giving them that money, because they're kind of like, it's like, you know, they got 2 tires on the car and it's not running well, you need to get them other 2 on before you can get down the road. So I understand that they kind of need, you know, they need that time. But they're gonna have to recruit those, or get it out there to make our community realize, hey, we got a really nice spot set up, and if you don't use it, you know, you're gonna lose it. And finish that process, because we've already donated, I mean, we could probably put other things in that area, but I'd like to see that process at least finished out and give them a running chance. And I don't have a problem giving the other money to the West Valley Community Campus, because first of all, part of that's to actually repair the building. The other part is so that they can provide music to both of the communities during the winter when it rains all the time. And I've gone to one of their little, whatever you call it, and it was very cute. I took my grandson, we had a great time. And, you know, people are out there dancing and stuff. And that's 2 different things. One is a task that needs to be addressed to fix the building. The other one's for community entertainment. And so I see it, yes, it's under one umbrella, but, you know, it's like cheerleaders over here and football over there or something, or sponsoring a basketball team. But this happens to be under the same roof, but I see them as 2 separate things. And then, since I'm rolling right along, and Tyler's not stopping me, I think we should give the Sheridan and Little Minus candy, whatever you want to call it. I call it the harvest season. And yes, we should just give it to them because they're from here. If the gentleman chaplain, I didn't even know what was going on, but, you know, I don't have a problem with that. And I really feel for Maui, so let me have that on the record. But I think we need to take care of our little community first. And other people want to donate, I think that's, you know, a little pat on the back. But, you know, for us, I think we need to encompass, our general fund's been so minute in the past that I just want to celebrate our community more so. I do feel for them, and you can pray for them. But that's the way I feel about that whole ball of wax.
Okay.
Don't sit so far with it.
Anybody else want to weigh in on this?
somebody else's motion. Point of order.
I think she did.
I think there can be a motion to amend the motion.
From Jim, who made the motion.
Yeah, she's
The
amending.
council rules.
She's offering an amendment to my motion. We vote on her choice of amendment first, and if it passes, then the motion is then
Okay,
changed to
I
whatever she
agree
amends.
with Jim, but I do have a suggestion, Roxy, before you go down that path,
yeah.
that it might be cleaner if we maybe, just withdraw the motion and have motions one at a time, instead of sort of getting.
In that case,
Okay.
to help move things along, I withdraw my motion.
Thank you, okay.
And then Councilor Buckles, do you have?
A new motion?
Well, it looks like I'm gonna have 4 motions, maybe. I'm gonna let somebody else take a shot at this.
Then I'll make a motion that we fund the 4 grants as presented.
Nope.
Oh, you don't like that?
Individually.
I know.
Oh, one at a time.
Yes.
Sheridan Rotary Club hosting the family movie nights, $500. Friends of the Sheridan Parks and Rec community.
No.
One at a time.
We're gonna vote one at a
Oh.
time. Oh, I thought I just had to say one at a time. Okay, Rotary's up, $500. I vote for that.
Thank you, Lisa.
And that's a second.
That's a second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Looks unanimous.
Miraculous.
That one.
Yay. Okay, let's do it again. Do I hear a motion for the Friends of Sheridan Parks and Recreation?
I make a motion for the Friends of Sheridan Parks and Recreation, Community Garden relocation expenses of $500.
Is there a second?
Do we have, no discussion at this
No,
point?
second. And
Okay,
then you discuss.
If you want to second, then we'll discuss.
I second it.
Thank you. Discussion. Liz?
Well, I agree with Denny, and now that I hear that they got money from another organization, I think that we should award that money to one of the other, applicants, whether or not, they didn't actually apply, but they sent letters. So that's what I think.
Okay, anybody else? You ready for a vote? Those in favor? Those, 2, okay. 2 in favor, those opposed. 1, 2, 3. You're missing some.
I abstain.
Oh, okay, all right, so that motion fails. But, let's move on. Do I hear a motion for the West Valley Community Campus wall replacement at the VOAG building?
I make a motion that we award the West Valley Community Campus $500 for the wall replacement on the BOGAD building. BOAG building.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on this? Yes?
I'd still like to go back to 250 on each of those, so 250 for this one, but we'd have to amend the motion.
Okay. Withdraw the emotion.
That's just-
The emotion.
Oh, boy.
I withdraw the motion.
Okay.
The motion, the motion.
The emotional one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it.
This
so
was
we're
the
starting
Just
off-
made the motion. we
I
should
think
just
it's
withdraw.
fine to take a vote on Liz's motion, right? Did it not pass?
She
But
was,
she just withdrew it.
Okay.
because,
Because I made it for 500 and
Yeah. Did it get a second?
Yes.
And so then why would you just take a vote on that? And then if
Because she
that
withdrew
fails, then Denny can do his motion, okay?
okay, I
stay
see
out
what you're
of it.
saying.
I'm
Okay.
gonna stay out.
No, okay, I see how you point. So the vote was 3-2, and it failed.
No, there's
There was no
no,
vote.
there is
There was
no
no vote.
outstanding motion right now.
Now we're back
It's
at
been withdrawn.
mute.
Okay,
So Debbie,
Moot.
okay.
Moot.
I make a motion that we award the West Valley Community Campus wall replacement on the Boeing building, $250.
Second.
Discussion? Kim?
I would have gave her 500.
Oh, my
Anyway, would you
goodness.
like to withdraw your motion?
No.
Let's take a vote on
Alright, those in favor, oh, sorry, what?
I said, let's just take a vote, if there's no other discussion, my recommendation is to take a vote on the 250, and if that fails, then you can make a vote for your amount.
Okay, so, what we have on the floor, a motion and a second, for $250 to go to the West Valley Community Campus for wall replacement at the Boeing building. Those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in favor. Okay, those opposed? 2 opposed. Motion passes. Okay, and the next one is the West Valley Community Campus for the wet season music series sponsorship.
I make a motion that we give $250 to the West Valley Community Campus wet season music series sponsorship. With, they know they can apply again from the next go around for this, another,
Oh, can we finish?
yeah.
So your motion is to give $250 to the West Valley Community Campus for the wet season music series.
I second.
Second, Roxy, all in favor? 4 in favor, those opposed.
Isn't there discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, go ahead.
So, their wet season, when does this music, last till? Because the next, second quarter, what does it say?
March 16th.
March?
March 16th is the big red band.
Okay, alright. That's what I need to do.
When is quarter 2 in?
December 27th.
Is that the next?
Yes, the next quarter.
Okay. So, that was going to. Was that a final meeting? Lucy commented, do we need to? or there's like-
Unless anybody's changing their vote.
Yeah, okay. So, that one passes. Oh,
Well, I would have voted for that because of that information.
Let's get a little hairy. All right, go ahead.
So at this point, we're done with item L1I, and we've spent $1,000, is that correct?
Yes.
So we still have,
15.
No,
Right, we got Rotary 500.
1,500.
we did not.
Oh, wait, we did not
We
pass
did
this
not
one.
fund the garden.
we didn't fund the Friends of the Sheridan
Oh,
City
yeah.
Parks and Recreation.
No,
And
so
we
then,
cut the West Valley campus in half twice.
yeah. So it's
500, 250, 250 is 1,000.
Yes, correct.
So we still have 1,500 if we care to join on item L1II for other donation considerations.
Okay.
1,500, right? We did not plan.
Yes, okay, go ahead, Gail.
Yes.
Like finance tonight.
So Heidi, for,
Yes,
the chaplain,
Yes,
is the $300, that was just a recommendation,
just a recommendation.
would, I'm guessing it would take more, but like, what is the actual, like amount, like, did he bill anybody, or
No.
is it just kind of a?
He let me know that he is a volunteer chaplain, so he came because there was a tragic accident, and it affected the city staff in different ways, and so he came out to visit. We got his name and information from the Sheridan Fire District, and then he also is the chaplain, I think,
For the state.
for the state fire marshal's office as well. But he is a full-time chaplain, and he only bills, he doesn't bill, he just goes where he needs to be, where he needs to go. And it is a non-denominational service. I attended it, and he did a fantastic job, and he left quite a bit of resources to care for us. And those are the kinds of resources that will also last a lifetime, really. And I recommend anybody, any organization that is in need of a chaplain service to use him. And I do have his contact information, but it is all on donation based.
Okay, and Jim?
I make a motion, we donate $300 to the chaplain Leo Keelan for his services that he provided, which could have been free, but he provided a lot of comfort to the city members. It was like a gift to us. Let's pay him something back, and $300 is what you came up with. I am fine with that.
Jim, he came immediately.
Okay, so
I second it.
Second, okay. Any further discussion on this? All in favor? Unanimous. Roxy, did you have something?
Just be next.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we contribute $100 to the Willamina Halloween Fund High School and to the Sheridan Halloween celebration for a total of $200.
Second.
Okay,
Sure.
any discussion on this? Okay,
I have a, so this, the chamber, they're both chambers, right?
yeah.
So,
No, yeah, the
No.
shared one is chamber.
Willamina, is that just
Yeah.
specifically for
I
that?
think it's a city thing.
Yeah, I
It's
think
the
so,
city
too.
will
It's the
line
city
up.
will line up.
It's their staff.
So if you have a balance of $1,200, right?
So we have a.
Yes, until you-
So if we don't use that $1,200, does it roll over and get accumulated with?
To Q4 is how we did it last year. But I wonder if you're thinking about giving more for those, because I just bought my trick or treat candy and a bag this big was like $20.
Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking is if it's for the chamber, they don't have to necessarily use it for candy, but they could use it for a lot of their other benefits they do throughout the year.
They
And it
wrote,
would be a way of,
do you have the sheet? It's specifically, the request is for
Yeah.
that event.
I don't know, but we could probably dog tag that and say this is just a little bonus because we're glad you're our neighbors.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Okay,
Their
that's
request.
where I'm going, early Christmas.
You did great. Liz?
Last year I volunteered at the high school for the high school's, trick or treat through the halls. Kim spent, and I think Kim's online, she can correct me if I'm wrong, I think she spent $600 or $900 on candy, and we ran out within an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that candy went so fast, so I suggest we allocate more funds for the candy for kids
Okay, here
than
is the,
$100.
here is the information from that. It's that time of year again. Sheridan Chamber of Commerce is once again holding their annual trick or treating in Sheridan High School on Halloween night from 5 to 6. So it's an hour-long thing, and the candy does fly. I know Liz knows about that. The purpose of this letter is to ask if you'd like to be a sponsor for this event. We ask for a donation of $50 to go towards candy for our West Valley children. However, any amount is helpful and greatly appreciated. This allows our kids to have a warm, safe, and fun environment on Halloween. A group of volunteers, and that can, she says that can include you if you'd like, will get together and pass out candy, then of course clean up afterward. Each year, we serve approximately 600 area youth. Our cost this year was $1,200. So that's kind of the information from them. So, you know, possibly a couple $100 here,
Yeah, I
or
think,
whatever.
yeah, because if we allocate 100 to each of them, we still are left with $1,000. So we should up the ante, that's my suggestion.
Okay. Anyone else?
There is a motion out there now, correct?
$100 a piece.
Is there a second on that motion?
There were two
Yes,
seconds.
there is. Okay.
Okay,
Parliamentarian.
and then we were having our discussion here.
Oh, no.
And so, okay, any further discussion on Roxy's motion to give $100 each? So that's our motion, okay? All in favor? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and those opposed. Okay, so that passes.
Only because I wanted to give them more, put that in the record.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
Can I make an additional motion to give them more?
Yeah, that's
You could.
exactly.
I'd like to make a motion to award another $100 to the Sheridan Chamber of Commerce.
And we'll win or just share? Okay. I was trying to, okay, fair.
Oh, and well, mine, sorry.
There we go.
So
There
it's
we
a
go.
total of 200 for
Yes.
both Halloween events, or are you just?
Just one of them.
Okay, let me fix that, let me fix
Yes.
that. I make a motion to award $100 to the Sheridan Chamber of Commerce and $100 to the city of Willamina for their Halloween,
Okay,
Total of
all right,
for a total of $200.
okay.
How did I do that right? It doesn't look like I did that
You
right.
did it right
You
there.
did.
What the heck is going on?
But that still leaves us with
Do we have a
$800.
second?
I second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Say something, it's discussion time.
Good
Okay,
job, Kel.
You guys, even if we award 200 each, we're still left with $800. Please believe me, that candy went so fast and it was so expensive. We should be awarding like 300 each, or 400 each. I know, another motion, I'll put another motion on the table, but it's not enough money. The candy's expensive. Seriously.
Hey, I'm thinking, raise my hand.
Okay.
Is it comment time?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
discussion.
Okay, so like, I'm not saying it's gotta all go to candy, there's still Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
And so I'm not like really pushing, unless you're gonna use it for, hate to say it, Christmas candy. But, I mean, you know, there's the Tree of Giving lady right here, she might be coming in on the next move. I mean, you know what I'm saying, there's other things like, you know, food bank, whatever, but, you know, it doesn't have to go to Sunday. But, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. Okay, Jim?
I'm not anti-Halloween or anti-children, we offer candy at our house. We come out
I'm not afraid of boys?
the door. However, I think if an organization plans a trunk or treat or a hallway Halloween function, they should have some plan how they're gonna pay for it, so they're begging for money from us. So I have no problem with giving them $200 if that will help, because the candy goes so fast and it is expensive, I know that, we bought a couple bags. But let's not just rain money on these two groups just because it's Halloween, I don't see that as a good thing.
Thank you, Jim.
That would be a treat and not a trick.
Exactly.
Okay, did
Yeah,
Ryan
okay.
second his emotion?
Yeah, here's, emotion, you're saying that. So Kale made the motion, did you second it? Denny seconded it. We got our discussion, and so let's vote on this, on Kale's motion for $100 additional for each. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 5. 5 for it, and those opposed? 1. Okay, so that
Because
passes.
I can't.
Roxy and Scrooge.
And I would like to be exempt, no, I'm kidding.
Okay, did you figure out what we're doing tomorrow with the checks that we want?
So far, yes.
So we have $1,000 for Rotary and
$1,000.
800.
No, 500 for Rotary,
Okay.
250 each for the 2 West Valley, so that's 1,000. And then we approved $300 for the chaplain, and a total of 200 each for Sheridan trick or treat and Willamina trick or treat.
Okay, so that's 1,700.
Okay. Jim,
Right.
Yes.
that's a total of
Bonus,
17.
but oh, well, I'll take
We have
it for-
$400 in trick or treat money, $300 to the chaplain, and then 1,000 to the regular application.
Okay, so we have left $600 now, is that correct?
800,
That's what I got written down, it's 800, so you had a different figure.
you
Okay.
said 17.
We spent 17.
Okay, we spent 17, so we still have $800 left.
Yes.
Okay, Jim?
I make a motion that we take the final $800 out of our community grant fund to give to the Rotary to ensure that it gets to the Maui Rotary that's having the most effect there. And then at the same time, we can challenge anybody we want to match our donation, but my motion is, let's give that $800 to the Rotary to get it to Maui. Perhaps they'll match it and they'll send a whole bunch of money, I don't know.
To the San Francisco Rotary Joint.
Whichever Rotary is most likely to get it to the people that need it, that's.
Go through the Rotary.
So that's the Sheridan's motion. Do we have a second?
I'd second.
Second, okay, now discussion. Lucy?
I'd rather see it go to the food bank or give some to the Tree of Giving that won't have a chance to do it because of the cutoff date and keep our money locally.
Liz?
I agree with Lucy, I think this is a City of Sheridan community fund, and it should stay within our community.
Okay, Kale?
I agree with that, too, there's, I have nothing against, Maui, but I have a feeling that if, this, it's the wrong thing to say, or maybe it's controversial, but if a fire took out half of our town, I have a feeling that they would not know that we exist, maybe they wouldn't donate to us, maybe they wouldn't even, if it was a fund, I don't wanna look at it that way. Yeah, I wanna donate because it's the right thing to do and stuff, but I think if it was reversed, I don't think that we would get the same help from
kind of like the campus, there are 2 Rotary things on the ballot. Oh, this is a Rotary thing, and we already gave 500 for the movies to Rotary. So if you had to stink, you know what I'm saying?
Is Rotary just gonna serve, would serve?
I
as a
know,
facilitator?
but what I like about the 500 for the movies is that's for our community.
Right.
That's what I like, it's staying inside the community, but just for a little side note for Tyler, you know, that is 2 Rotary things. But I'm for keeping the money in our
Okay.
community.
Thank you. Denny?
We need both of the community campus money,
Yeah, I know, but it was split in.
and Mr.
But
Castro.
Just so you know, we've never had this much trouble awarding our community grants.
We're stingy.
This is unusual. Okay. All right, so let's see here. How did that motion start? So, okay, the motion was to send the remaining $800 to Maui, and was that seconded? I guess it had to be some
Yes.
discussion.
ACA.
Oh, that's right, it was Roxy's. Okay. Any further discussion? Liz?
I think we should roll it over to the next quarter, and maybe more people would apply for those funds, especially at Christmas time, with different organizations doing things during the city, then the lights, and there's so many tree of giving, there's so many
Yeah,
things
there is a
going
lot
on.
of things that happen
So
over the
I would-
holidays.
I think it would better serve us to roll it over.
I don't mind rolling it over, but the cutoff date's December 27th, honey, and Christmas is on the
Oh, yeah.
25th. So if it's not done now, if it's not
Well, you
done
can pay
now,
your bills later.
yeah. But if it's not done, I mean, I don't have a problem rolling it over either, but if we were gonna give to another organization, for them to get it by Christmas, we'd have to do it tonight. But I don't have a problem rolling it over either.
Okay, and Jim?
Can we vote on this motion so we can decide what to do with the rest of the money if it doesn't pass?
That's called calling the question, and we have to vote on it.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor of what? I
What?
forgot.
Jim?
Sending the $800 to Maui. However it
Oh, okay.
Okay,
The vote would actually be to end discussion.
is. Okay, let's end discussion.
okay, those in favor of ending the discussion?
Is it really?
Yes.
Yes, it is for ending discussion.
Okay, that's unanimous.
Thank goodness.
Now our next is to vote on Jim's motion. Okay, all in favor? 2, those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that one fails.
Now we could have 8 different $100 motions.
Is it, are we still making motions?
If you
Okay.
You can, or you can move to the next subject.
Well, I
So
make a
still have
motion that we
800.
roll the $800 over to the next quarter.
Isn't that what will happen?
Yeah, I think that,
That is,
yes, Heidi?
that is not what has happened in the past, because we've just always had the 2,500 for each quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and then quarter 4 is like a party to see how much is left. But it doesn't mean that that's what happens. I'm only here to tell you what I have seen and observed with the last few times. We haven't even done this many times, but that's what happened last year. How's that? That's what happened last
Still in the
year.
budget.
So,
So,
the money isn't
you make one
budgeted
for
for
the.
this, yeah.
But we didn't apply.
It doesn't
Yeah, but it
matter.
doesn't matter.
Oh.
I make a, okay, go.
Go for it.
Before anybody makes a motion, Liz did make a motion, so Liz, are you withdrawing your motion to roll over the money?
Yes, I'm withdrawing my motion.
Okay.
Did you get that, Yvonne?
I'm lost. Crazy.
Weird looking.
I'm writing little stuff down, so let's go, Liz.
Okay,
Go
Liz.
ahead.
I make a motion to give the food bank $400.
I second it.
Okay, that's totally $400 on the table.
Discussion.
Okay, discussion, yeah. Denny?
At this time, I'm aware that the food bank is working on a pretty substantial grant, and that they would appreciate anything they get, and they would use it later on down the line, so I wouldn't hold back giving them money because of what they do. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of important there, that, so they do have a grant, but it, you know how know when you receive a grant, those funds are designated for specific things. And so there is, what they really need money for, they actually have a very low balance when it comes to like paying the light bill and the water bill and those types of things. And so, because yes, they do have a grant and it's a wonderful thing, but it cannot be used for that type of expense. So they really still need our community's help with that, so, okay, thank you.
Question,
Yes,
does that mean the monies that they get from the city, they can use for anything they want?
yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that you weren't,
So for that, they
they
could
could use it.
make repairs, or they could, pay the light bill, they could, whatever, is needed, ongoing expenses, I guess.
Parliamentarian Junior here, it's technically your motion. You can make it
Can I
for
modify
anything
that?
for the food, of course.
That's $600 to the food bank.
Do you wanna limit it for a certain thing of an expense, or they can just determine?
They
You wanna
can
say for
determine.
like their utility bills?
They can determine.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so that would leave $200 on the table.
Okay.
Okay, so Lucy, is that your motion?
That is my motion, 600, yes.
Is there a second?
No, no strings attached.
No strings attached, $600. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Those in favor? That is unanimous. Phew. We're down to 200.
Okay,
Okay. Just a second, I don't write this down.
I'm not writing it down, depending on the.
This is number 5.
But I don't know. Okay, so we now have $200 in the kitty. Go ahead, Liz.
I make a motion that we award the Tree of Giving $200 to use.
I second that.
Okay. All right. Any
And in
discussion?
any way they see fit,
Okay.
for children. Not a party.
Okay, so we have a motion, $200 for the Tree of Giving, we have a second, is there discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? That is unanimous in our work here.
Wow. I earned my keep tonight.
Wow, okay, excellent, nicely done. Real tough getting over, we persevered, it's just great choices you made. Okay. All right, so the next thing is, a vote on the, so does everyone get a chance to read the Verizon Connect Advanced GPS fleet tracking equipment? And, so that's what this next one is about. So, I think there's a. Go ahead, Roxy.
How many vehicles is this gonna cover?
I'll defer to Yvonne and Gary.
We had them estimate 15 vehicles on this quote.
Oh, that makes the price tag a little more palatable.
And it's $690 per vehicle?
No, per month total for all 15.
So it'd be $8,280 a year. So Liz,
Gary, have you looked into other providers and what they offer, or is Verizon the only one that offers this type of service?
That's the only one that we did that because we have Verizon phones, so we thought we would try to keep everything
I see.
in-house.
Okay.
I'm sure that there are other, companies that do this. I don't know pricing on any of them,
But the city uses Verizon phones, so
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind
one
of
of
a
ours.
tie-in, okay.
okay, and Jim?
Where does that $8,280 come from?
Okay, that's my point. Okay, so the water and the sewer fund will pay 95% and the general fund will pay 5%. Only because we have our the city hall staff uses very minimally the, what am I trying to say?
Code
The
enforcement,
code,
correct.
well, yes. That and
but.
just to run errands.
I mean, I just wondered, but the guess is miscellaneous expenses.
I was gonna say outside services.
Oh, I like that better, we're happy budgeting for that.
I thought it was coming out of the candy budget.
Please don't go back. Don't go back. Roxy?
On a day-to-day basis, kind of tell me how you use this.
So it would like literally leave a breadcrumb trail following each vehicle that is plugged into. So then, you know, if there was ever, say, a complaint of somebody speeding or running a stop sign, or if we have another tragic event like we had a couple weeks ago, it would show all of the, we'd get all the details.
Denny?
So the tragic event that happened a
I
couple
don't
weeks
think
ago,
that we are supposed to talk.
So,
it's in the packet.
It's in your packet.
All I wanna say is, that event happened with a private vehicle, didn't it? Not a company vehicle?
I will defer to legal on that.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
that statement's not true.
Well, can I have clarification? I'm not sure. Does it also follow your work phone?
No, it's
Just
it's
the
not
dash
part of,
cam.
yeah, because of privacy issues for the.
Just the
individual.
vehicle.
Just the vehicle, yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ken.
So, if, say like a public works vehicle was like stolen or something, it would, we'd be able to track it from wherever it ended up.
Okay, and Liz, did you have something?
No, I think I'm gonna listen.
Okay, and maybe?
Well, one of the considerations you should know coming, before the city council will be that, how is this? We're gonna ask, do you wanna talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are planning to change or bring to the council the change in our policy for on-call staff so that they will be taking a work vehicle home when they are on call, so that they will be driving a work vehicle when they are called into work on their off
That's
hours.
right, yeah.
Yes, Annie?
And then this minimizes any risk that an employee would use the vehicle. We have really great employees, outstanding employees, but it would minimize any public scrutiny that that vehicle would be used for anything but private use. I mean, public use. Well,
It's not being used for private.
Okay, and Liz?
How would that affect insurance? Would it increase the rates?
I actually believe that it would, if anything, decrease, but
Didn't we ask
wait,
about
oh,
this?
sorry,
Did
I'm
we
sorry,
ask-
Liz, which were you asking?
If,
About installing the
if-
cameras?
if city employers took, I was asking about the vehicles going home.
Ooh.
So if they would use them in an event of emergency, would the insurance go up if they are taking them to their private residence?
I actually don't believe that it would, because that is pretty standard for
Okay.
on-call services, but I have not talked to the insurance provider.
Because, don't some of the employees live outside the, I mean, we get as far as Salem and.
No. Everybody has to live, well, when you're on, okay, so you, in order to live or work here, you have, in an emergency responding position, you have to live within 45 minutes. However, if you, and when you're on call or standby, it's called here, you can go, like say, my son had a soccer game in Willamina. Well, I would not drive my city vehicle to Willamina in the faith that I'm going to that soccer game on my personal time, right? Or I'm doing that as a personal event. But I have the understanding, see, this is why Tyler and I have a lot of work in front of us to look at these policies, because there's a lot of questions that come up. But that would be me then going home to my house from Willamina, from the soccer game, if I get called in, and then picking up the work truck and coming to respond directly. It also minimizes the amount of time, this is kind of getting off track, but it kind of minimizes the amount of time to respond to people. If that makes
More of
sense.
a direct route.
Yeah, a direct route. But back to this connect reveal, we wanted to take this to the city council because of the price, but we also wanted to kind of get a flavor or a feel for what you want, if you are interested in this.
Okay, Jim?
To me, this seems like a good thing, it's slightly expensive, but I make a motion that we approve the city's request to spend $690 a month on this software with a camera for 15 vehicles for a total of $8,280 per year.
Okay, do I have a second?
Specific, I'd second that.
Okay, we have a second. Any,
I'm sorry, we forgot to mention that it does also track asset maintenance in the vehicle, right, Gary, like when they need
Yeah,
to
like a
change.
fleet maintenance program essentially.
okay, so it kind of tells you when it needs to, not so
Yeah, if you can get it, I think you can set it up so it'll do actual reminders to the, you know, to the supervisors or the employees, who operates that vehicle normally. They'll send a text or some form of a update,
Sorry, I wanted to mention.
not while you're
That was
driving.
discussion time, it's okay.
And Dacia was particularly interested in the safe driving incentive program that it has as part of their package.
It shows, like, it'll show your average speed and it'll know what speed zone you're in, so if you're 5, 10,
Aggressively
15
stopping.
over,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Wow, okay, Liz,
Roxy, will you invite me?
go ahead.
I just wondered, do we not have a maintenance schedule on all our vehicles?
I don't think it's as tight as it could be with something like this. You will notice that a lot of things we also repair when they break, because a lot of our stuff is older and the tires and that kind of thing. So it will be really nice to ratchet it down and that we know and have a really good system, right? Of when things
Move
are
more to
due.
preventative maintenance instead of reaction.
But we don't have preventative maintenance schedule for our vehicles.
Not
We're improving it.
Okay, now Liz.
Does that have to
So-
be something that wouldn't have to be electronic? I mean, that could be just something on paper with a reminder on the calendar.
It can be, but that's just one of the benefits too.
Sure.
It's-
Okay.
So when you go up to Stony Mountain, your phone still works, so this would still work. I mean, when you
It's
go.
spotty, once you actually get to
That's
Stony,
what I was
yes, it
wondering,
does
like,
work.
how reliable is it gonna be? I mean, I know my.
Well, it's
Century Link
it's
doesn't
more,
work
it's a
fast.
satellite coverage though, from what the way they explained it, so it will know where your vehicle is, kinda like Google Maps, even if you don't have phone service, it'll still track you or tell you where to go.
Oh,
Is it
okay,
Wi-Fi too?
okay.
Does that include Wi-Fi?
GPS, GPS.
Oh, it's, okay.
All right, so if somebody went off the road, it would find them obstructing them. Is that one of its benefits?
I hope I don't run off the road.
No, I mean, just not like
I
that.
know,
It would
yeah.
find you if you're off-roading.
I believe it would.
All right,
I think they said there was some sort of collision warning,
oh, okay.
I believe so.
It starts to pin where the cell towers get spotty. It'll pin where
The last
it
known spot.
drops pins, but it might not track the whole way.
Right, until you get back to full service, and then it'll.
Okay. All right, and Jim?
Just as asset management, you can set it to go for mileage and after, it will say, oh, we're up to 5,000 miles, whatever.
And I believe that it was all, in the package with them, they would come and help us set this up.
The titles are the monitoring and fuel purchases and diagnostic trouble codes. That alone could save you a bunch of money. You don't have to go to Alex at Eric's Tire and have him plug the
Yes, sir.
slot in. It tells you right away. It sounds like a good deal.
Okay.
Actually, it's a little expensive, but it could prove to be very valuable when you really need it.
Okay, and Heidi?
I just want everybody to know that we had an employee that we kind of were like, oh, he left and he went to go get rock. And then we forgot that he was gone until he was supposed to be back at the job site. And he wasn't in cell service and he ran out of something happened. What happened?
I can't remember what happened.
But he didn't come back, and so then we had to send a team to go find him. This is real-time stuff that he didn't have cell phone service, so he was missing
Wow.
and gone for a couple hours.
Okay, Jim?
I know for a fact we had a vehicle stolen from the Public Works building approximately 2 years ago. Yeah, we got it back and it wasn't damaged, but this surely would have sped up the process to get that vehicle back. And perhaps actually been able to help us catch what was stolen. So again, I see this as a win-win.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Are you guys ready to vote?
Yeah.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the city manager report.
All right. First off, I want to take the time to apologize to Derek and to, I think your name is Kirstin, for any confusion that I may have caused. The second thing is, you all have my report in your packets, and is there any questions?
Potentially, I guess. You have a large report this month.
Yeah.
Yes, so the top part is the part that, when we worked through the, I don't remember what part it was of council rules procedure perhaps, that, the mayor would like me to continually report on.
Thank you.
And so that's that part, and then she also would like me to have the second part here, which is about which is about grants. And then I divide it with another line, and those are like my free choosing.
This is great, thank you.
Yeah, and so Jim, does that help with the long report? So what I'm getting at is you can probably expect to see a report of this length.
Well, that's fine, I'm not complaining, I like seeing
It's,
reports like this. It's just, I didn't highlight anything, but I thought I had a question.
Heidi, would you like to talk more about the new neighborhood watch that's coming up?
Yeah, so I've had an interested person come in and we met and had a really good dialogue, and we hopefully will be able to get this program up and running. And I know that in the past that there has been attempts, but this time around, I think it could be more successful because the county has somebody to really help with that. It's a neighborhood watch individual there. They are a volunteer, but that volunteers are very regularly. And so there's been, since the last attempt, I think there's some really solid framework to help. When I was listening to the issues from before, it sounded like they were just these missing pieces that now I think are there. So I would like to give it another try and have more people be involved in that.
Do you have
I think it's
an
a
idea
really good way to what.
when it may begin?
It depends on, well, just today, this afternoon, I got a follow-up email from the project down into that.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll keep an ear out for that.
Okay.
And we have a new person in public works, that's.
Yes, we do. Her name is Sandy, and she was there many moons ago when Stony Mountain was, coming in for, all that project
I
happened.
don't recognize the name, but
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
that's a
and
good
so we're
experience for
very,
us.
yes, this person comes to us with a lot of experience and probably just one of the best references I've ever heard from. So I'm really excited to welcome this person to our staff, or back into our staff.
Okay, yeah, what is her title?
Her title is Public Works.
Office clerk. Yeah, office clerk, okay. All right, Jim?
Like I said, I like seeing these kind of reports so we can kind of get a feel for what you are doing, what you've been doing. It's a lot of stuff. And I'm wondering if it would assist you for the city to have a part-time employee to just work with you. When you've got 3 things to do, they take 1, now you're down to 2, so you get a chance to get some work done. That's my theory.
Thanks, Jim.
And so I just wondered, would that benefit you? To have a part-time, because I don't wanna get into PERS and insurance and all that, so part-time is the way to go.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I'll take that into consideration. Tomorrow, I'm stealing the front-end employee here for a couple hours to help me with a bunch of paperwork stuff, so thank you for thinking of me, Jim.
No problem. I see a lot of stuff going on, and I personally, although I'm not qualified to do it, I don't know how you manage to squeeze all this into
Well, I've got him on.
your 24/7.
This city hall staff and then our public works and our library staff are a bunch of really hard workers, and they really believe in teamwork and helping each other. So none of this is possible without a good staff, so.
Oh, I believe that, easily, but
we're
there are
really-
times when you need to be in 3 places at once, and
Yes.
I think it would be good if you had someone that could at least be in one of those places, so then you won't have to cut yourself in half.
Okay, and Cam?
Kind of along the same lines of Jim, I was wondering if it would benefit to have like a full-time or half-time human HR support person. I know the school district, we used to not have a full-time HR person. It was kind of split, and now we do have a full-time HR person. That's all they do.
of hard to imagine what we used to do before. I was just gonna, I'm sure you've thought of that already, but, I'm just gonna, see if that might be helpful.
Thank you. These are great ideas for us to consider.
And it's not on the agenda, but I'm in favor with what they're saying also. I think it's been a real load on Heidi to accomplish what she has, and it's been hard up for her, and I think we ought to consider making it a little bit easier for her
Okay.
in future time.
I know, well, that's why I feel bad. So, there's a lot going on, so.
And I understand that too.
Okay, Heidi, do you have anything else?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for your support, and thanks for sitting through the meeting. There's some new faces, so that's always good.
Yes, it is. So our next item is the second public comment period, which the rules of the first public comment period are the same. So, let's see. Margaret, did you want to speak? No?
About something not about bees.
Oh. Sure, let's do it.
Ralph, part two.
Give you a little background. I worked for Oregon OSHA for almost 15 years, and State Fire Marshal for another 5-6 years. I was involved in enforcement activities, and the reason why I bring that up is they all use vehicles, and they were assigned vehicles. And I will tell you that there was issues with people misusing those vehicles when there was no way of tracking them. So this idea that you come up with this new system, I think would be very beneficial to you. I wish we would have had it at the time I worked for the state. The second thing is, I was involved with Oregon, with Salem setting up their community gardens. There was 4, I think there's 3 now. But I will tell you, during the COVID, the attendance at those gardens went down substantially. And so you may be having some issues here with lack of, because of the COVID. People did not get involved during that period of time. The other reason I'm also talking about that, at least at one of those community gardens, there is a beehive. And if you so I'm suggesting, even though they might be in a flat spot now with the community gardens, it's well worthwhile. And to get the community to know that it's available, I think it's well worthwhile doing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Anyone else? All right.
Yeah, can I take just a little moment longer, is that all right? Yes.
And it does look like you got one hand up on.
Oh, I
on board.
wait.
I'm gonna wait for
No, you go ahead.
Just one last little tidbit, because I jibber-jabbered. We just wanted to know if we could have an estimate on when we could expect some kind of follow-up, and maybe how we could expect that follow-up, would it be an email or a call, or moving forward?
I'm gonna address that in council concerns next.
Okay, Heather, do you have an answer?
Or are there any questions?
How that will go.
That will be pending our executive session, so we don't have an answer at this time. But
Okay.
we will follow up
Like in the next month?
very
or so?
soon.
Okay,
No, very good.
that's all we really wanted to know, we appreciate that, all your
Thank you. Okay. And do we have someone here?
Yes, Stacy.
Oh, Stacy. Go ahead, Stacy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, very good.
I did just submit a public comment form online. I apologize. I'm going to step out from being press for a moment, and I would like to comment as a board member on the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to say thank you very much for the donation from the city. However, I do want to take a quick step back and say that I was a little off-put, I guess, by a remark made while discussing it, while the council was bantering and talking back and forth about raising the donation amounts that were not requested. The remark was made that, you're not just throwing out money and candy or whatever, that these organizations need to be planning. And that kind of struck me a little painfully, and I would like to make some clarification that the Chamber of Commerce works extremely hard to pre-plan for these, and in the history of the Sheridan Concert Halls, as far as I know, the Chamber of Commerce has always, up until last year, covered the expense of the candy. And I realize it sounds really kind of silly, but we do work very hard. We take a donation of $1 to $100 to whatever. We are so grateful for everything. But we've already purchased that. It is in our plan. We do budget. We are not begging for money. And I would just like that to be clarified. I felt that was kind of a sharp remark. So I really appreciate the donations that the city offers. I just wanted to be clear that we do plan and are prepared to 100% pay for these things. We do appreciate community support though. So thank you.
Thank you, Staci. Okay. All right, so now it is time, and if I don't see any other, oh, Margaret, you said no, okay. All right, so now it's time to move on to mayor council comments. And, who wants to start that? Penny?
I'll start off. On 10/16, we had a gentleman come to council, pretty upset about the speed limit and the speeding going on West Main with the big trucks. And to the, so there hasn't been a speed trailer out there yet. It's been a month, and it's, I guess, the way it goes. There also hasn't been any, as far as I know, any speeding tickets written out there, so it's not being patrolled. And when I was going out there today, just by chance, I got behind a log truck. He was going 50 in a 45, which...
Does that mean you were going 50 and 45?
Yeah. He was doing 55 in the 45 from about, this side of John's Automotive till where he got to Rock Creek and then slow down and go around the corner. And that's where the guy's complaining that these trucks, and that's just one I just happened to be behind today. I was speeding too. I know they go faster, they go slower. That's the tendency of a log truck driver because they're getting paid by the load, and every minute they can make up, they can get that extra load, which I think is a very dangerous thing, but I've lived that life. And it's, that's what you do. But I think if we got a few tickets going there, the boys would be on their CDs talking to each other, saying, hey, you better watch it going through there because it's speedy. And there is, there's no shoulder out there. So those folks in wheelchairs and bicycles and anything can happen. So that's one. Still, I just want to keep up on that crosswalk by the grocery store in this weather. The paint's all faded. You don't even see it. You don't even see it. And there's no crosswalk sign there either on the sidewalks. This is a crosswalk. That's getting more dangerous all the time. And also, a while back, we talked about, or was discussed, the broadband, Gail, you brought up, they were talking about putting a dish up on the water towers. That's what I understood anyway. And I haven't heard any more about that. And also, we were going to get a solar system put up at the water plant to operate the water plant by solar power. And I have not heard anything more about that in several months. I'll stop there for now.
Do you want any feedback from that or not?
I would love some feedback.
It's up to the mayor.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Solar power was for a grant that we partnered with PGE. We were not awarded that from the Oregon Department of Energy.
Okay.
I thought that I communicated that because it was a while ago, but I'm sorry if I did not.
You probably did.
Okay, so that's a no. We did not get that grant. You win some, you lose some. Well, you just don't get some, we didn't lose. Okay, broadband was, with the tower on the water plant. So we've had a slight change in our leadership at Public Works, and Gary is the interim Public Works Director, and so we had to,
figure out what was going on with some of the things, because the person had to just depart. And so that kind of leaves you hanging. But I know Gary yesterday, or, no, it wasn't yesterday, it's Sunday, recently, within the last few days, followed up again with Lyrica. But we have not heard back, but he wrote a really, really great email that ended, I believe, with something like, it would sure be great to have all of our city facilities and our city to have fast broadband in there. So it was a really nice email. Okay, and then the crosswalk by IGA, Gary and I have been taking very seriously with Kenny. So, we have somebody geared up or not geared up yet?
I've reached out to our engineer, Chris.
Yeah.
To try to get some, just some info so we can see what the best solution is gonna be there. Unfortunately for us, but great for him, he's on maternity, he's out on maternity leave. Paternity, whatever. He's out with a baby. And he should be, I think, back within the next couple weeks. We're gonna get back on that project, but Heidi and I met out there and we came up with some ideas. We looked at signage, and I'm gonna work with Chris on how we can improve that, whether it be just the painting, but I've got a couple other ideas that I'd like to run by him to see, so we can improve that. Because it is hard to see when you stand back on the sidewalk and there's rigs parked right there. So there is ways we can improve that.
And the other thing is, we have a report from one of the museum volunteers that people are doing U-turns right there. So they're at Riverside Cafe and they're going around. Well, I had the deputy go, and he was like, Heidi, there's already signs there. And sure enough, there are signs there, but they are very faded. And so Gary and Kenny are making new signs. We've been trying to, any place in the city that the signs are in poor repair, they oftentimes are not in compliance with new standards, which is like reflections stuff. What is it?
Yeah, the 3 and reflective.
Yes, and they have to have that on them. And so we're also gonna throw the ordinance number on it to let people know. I found out that the city manager has the ability to decide where you can do U-turns and not, so. I'll try
Actually,
not-
the city administrator.
Yes,
has
the city
authority.
administrator, and I will try not to use that to
Give
our
her another
advantage.
Don't let that go to your head, all that power.
So anyways, so we found that out, and we are working on that. And just that one thing with the U-turn, I'm hoping that that gets back to the museum staff, to thank you for their input and for them watching. And man, that's such a dangerous thing for people to do right there. The follow-up with the police, I will check where we are in the queue with the speed trailer. I know we're in the queue for a speed trailer on Cherry Hill and on Hill Street, and I will see where we are with the Main Street one. And then I will talk to the deputy that has road patrol and to the sergeant about your semi-truck report, or long truck, whatever it was.
I think people may not know how that works. I did until you explained it to me. So these speed trailers, there's a finite number of them in Yamhill County. And if you want one in a particular place, you have to put your name on a list, and you have to wait until you work up to where it's your turn to have one of those. I didn't realize that that's how that works. And that one of ours is, what, is it, did you say it's broken or?
Not ours, we don't own any of them.
Well, of the counties that would serve this area, okay, so one of them is kind of.
I guess one of them must be having, he said if it was the maintenance or something about maintenance.
Okay.
But there is a county commissioner here, so don't forget county commissioner, put your budget in for more speed trailers.
I know,
Yeah.
thank you.
We always have to poke him at some point, we haven't given him his attention yet.
Okay.
And then back to the internet thing, Lyrica did respond early, I believe this morning, and they said that they're doing their due diligence to make sure that this is the right fit.
Great,
So,
Okay.
that's good news.
They did give response.
And Liz?
Okay, so I'm confused on this broadband high-speed internet issue, because at one point we had
No.
a presentation by Hunter Communications, was it Hunter Communications? And they were gonna look into, wasn't that the name?
Yes, it
And they
is.
were gonna look
They
into
came to-
burying lines and blah, blah,
Fiber
blah.
optic.
So now we're talking about a
Counselor
Lyrica, so
Lisa?
I'd like to know what's going on.
Hunter decided not to follow through. And I say that
Because they
about-
couldn't bury lines because of the railroad, right?
We
Am
got
I
a
right?
couple,
Yeah.
Well, it's the Lyric is a satellite internets, that's separate than Hunter.
Oh,
I think it's two different things, but Hunter, from what I understand, there's probably a few reasons why they're deciding not to do fiber, but one of them, I guess, is because CenturyLink already has fiber. So,
CenturyLink has fiber here now?
there is what
Say
I've
they do.
heard from, someone who asked Hunter to communicate about it. Maybe Heidi has,
I think CenturyLink has, limited fiber lines. In geographically, I don't mean that the lines are limited, I mean, in the city, there's some.
so is
Because
there,
of the railroad tracks.
I have no idea.
I
I keep going on, sorry. So I don't know if there's anything we can, the city, I don't know, Heidi, can convince Hunter to continue, because I know there's other communities, I was driving around outside of Dayton, and they're putting fiber outside of, you know, Dayton, it's pretty rural, but I don't know if,
Willamette is totally covered with fiber.
yeah, and I think Hunter did their fiber, and, yeah, sorry.
Roxy, did you have something in there?
I think they want to, I have a new subject, so let's.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in addition, the county has a grant or something's happening where they have somebody specifically working on bringing broadband out, and I have a rumor that the West Valley is of a high priority for them to assist with. So I've met with that team twice, I think, or once or twice, and just, maybe, anyways. And I know the person that's helping to work on it, so, yes, so that is hopeful that the county level can help with pushing that as well.
I think there's a federal incentive to do that in rural communities, right?
There is a couple of ways to crack that nut. Kale and I have tried, but the government can do it, which is like a later application, I believe, that's coming up. Or there's incentives for private companies to get that money. So there's, you know, a couple of different ways to grab at it, but I think that the private way was the first set of monies to go out.
Okay, and Lizzie?
So to condense that, so Hunter's backed out because the other guys have some form of light fiber. So is that what you're saying? Because you just got the same, because you asked Hunter to come back
Yeah,
and try it again. Is it because, was it cellular, the other one? It has a couple lines of fiber or whatever, yeah.
yeah, from my understanding, it sounds like, maybe one company's already started to lay fiber internet cable, and so Hunter isn't able to lay it on top of that, or in the same area, I don't know how that works, but
Okay.
it almost sounds like CenturyLink has dibs on it.
I can't believe I didn't care for that.
I don't mean light as in like the speed, I mean, or easygoing, I just mean that they have a little bit. So meaning geographically, there's just some, geographically there's some, but the whole city's not covered with the ability to have it at their resident or commercial.
Okay.
But yes, there's a lot more work to be done, there's a lot more work to be done in the area of broadband here, or satellite.
Okay, and Roxy, you have one? Something new?
We done with that subject?
I-
Gary, did you want to?
No.
Okay. I wanted to bring up the subject of the abatement that we have started on the Masonic building, and where are we at in that?
We're working with our engineers to design and build a seawall. And
How
we're
does that mean?
prioritizing protecting the plaza instead of additional cleanup work at this time.
Is that part of the abatement process? I thought the
It's related
abatement
to
process
that.
would be getting control of the property.
At another time, we can talk more about it, not right now.
Okay.
And Lucy?
So, first of all, I wanted to know, in regards to the two people who spoke tonight, the farmer and the bee guy, when are we going to discuss, we're gonna discuss the bee thing at our next workshop?
The planning commission is discussing the bee thing at their next planning commission meeting.
Okay, so, just for reference for them, it's gotta go through the planning commission and they come to me, but I thought it was a good idea too about the gardening.
To the
With the bees, with the bees at the garden spot, I thought, you know, that's a really good idea. So I'm glad you thought of it, because I was already thinking of it. So, and then with the lease for Mr. Bryant, you know, can I,
No,
no,
you
can't?
cannot talk about it.
Then can we talk about that at our workshop that's in November?
I can touch base with you after the meeting about what we can and can't talk about, but we cannot talk about that lease or anything about it in open meeting right now.
Okay, well, just,
All right. Denny?
I got one more.
I'm glad I
So,
started.
I think it was in July when I brought this up for you guys to think about, and that's ordinance 10.40.030, parking. And so what it is parking on properties owned residential for the purpose of properties containing residential development shall be limited to driveway, garage, and or carport, or in the case of multifamily development, on designated parking spaces with development with the following exceptions. So I'd like to put in these exceptions to amend that ordinance, or put exceptions to that ordinance. And that would be to park recreational vehicles, automobiles, trucks, motorcycles, boats, trailers, or similar vehicles may park on impoverished surfaces such as grass in residential yards within the city of Sheridan for a period no longer than 3 days from May through August, with permit issued by the city of Sheridan. Water and sewer hookups not permitted. The permit showing dates allowed must be displayed at the residence so as to be easily seen by Sheridan's code enforcement official. Exception 2, permits will be limited to 72 hours within a 1-month period. During the months of May, June, July, and August, 3-day permits will be limited to a total of 3 per year. Exception 3, residents and guests may use recreational vehicles, campers, or similar vehicles as sleeping quarters during this 3-day period on the property where the permit was issued. Exception 4, during the permitted months of May through August, most yards are as hard as rock. No vehicles may park on residential property if muddy conditions exist. And all motor vehicles on the premises shall be in operating condition, in compliance with all motor vehicle safety equipment, registrations, licensing laws, displaying proper tags, and validation stickers. And this is to help our lack of places for people to stay or when they come to visit, for Sheridan days, or hometown days, for weddings, funerals, graduations, whatever. So I would like to see if we could maybe, go ahead.
I was just gonna suggest that if we could get a copy of that for Yvonne and for Tyler. Is that your only copy?
It is.
Can I have it?
Sure.
Or do you want it?
I would like a copy.
Okay, we will make a copy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And
Kim?
I was gonna, if that's something we could talk about, maybe at a workshop or something, because I have questions and maybe concerns, but I don't wanna bring them up now, but maybe during a workshop or something, if we discuss it.
Okay. So to my understanding, how it's working with the workshops is that the city council should let the mayor know that you're interested in that as a workshop, and then she's going to pick the date.
And I just wrote it down, so I'll take that into consideration.
I'll second that.
So, okay, that was on that one. And Denny, I guess. Okay, Kim?
Oh, yeah, I was just, I guess my comments are, I was good, mostly Heidi, I reviewed a lot of the, well, I don't know about a lot, but I reviewed the safe routes to school, and I went up there today, at Falker Chapman, we have some ideas, but I just wanted to check, is the grant that goes along with it, is that in progress, or is that something the city is interested in applying to?
Yes.
Okay,
So
and is-
the construction grant, we found out is
Early in 24 it opens.
early 24, so we are thinking about all of that and how it all fits together with that final report that we got. But essentially, that was for a planning report, and believe it or not, everybody that goes through the planning process doesn't always apply for the construction project.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are two different ones. So we will come to the school district very soon, really. I've got Gary reading the final report, and so we need to set up a meeting, you're right, for all of us to pick.
So with the construction grants, maybe you don't know yet, but would that cover things that the city would do and things for the district? Because I know some of them were broken up by like, city does this, and then some of them are school district, like,
Yes.
does it cover both?
We are also learning about that, so Kale, if you wanna be, so we have an email into our ODOT rep, which Gary we put it all together today, the things we wanna talk to her about, and that's one of them, is that grant, and so maybe it's best for you to sit in for that part.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. And then I had another question just about, I think, parking in general, but I can just talk to you after the meeting.
Oh, sure.
Okay, and Liz?
I have a whole different subject. It was in the minutes that, Shannon Ray did not want to paint, if we refurbish the murals in town, Shannon Ray did not want to paint them, but she wanted some input on it. I received a statement from her, or an email from her today. She does wanna paint characters in the historical one. She feels a lot of ownership of those murals because she painted them originally. So she does want to, if we go ahead and do that, and perhaps this is for the art group rather than the city council, but it is in the minutes. She does want to paint what she can reach and then have, sort of oversee another painter do the landscape part. She's willing to let someone else do the landscaping piece, but she does want to paint the characters and be very much involved in the process because she did paint them originally.
Right.
Can I have a reminder, maybe here a little bit, is that one of them that's on the Davidson building?
Yes.
I had a very good conversation this weekend, and that family is interested, but they're gonna need some financial support.
Who's interested? The
The
Davids?
Davidsons, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's part of our grant
Yes,
that
yeah.
we've applied for. Hopefully,
We
when,
will have to apply for a grant to help them.
Yeah.
And their children support that.
Okay, anything else? Jim?
I brought it up a couple times. Are we any closer where now we can track our vehicles with a GPS and a camera? We still don't have anything that says City of Sheridan.
We have them picked out, and I measured them on the truck, and so that should be very, very soon.
That is excellent, thank you.
We're making
And,
some progress at those to-do lists.
My other question is, do we know yet what the topic of the next workshop will be?
Oh, this is, you wanna announce it? It's very exciting stuff.
Well, I'm not sure what all they will be. I wasn't expecting to be asked that, so I'm not gonna answer because it's not set in
I
stone.
have a different.
Do you want me to, Civil West is coming.
Oh, that's, yeah,
Yes,
that's the
Civil
big one.
West is coming, it's a big deal, so we're going to have them present to you on some exciting options, hopefully some options for Sheridan Road. I think that there should be about 4 options for you to consider. Then we'll hear an update on the water master plan, and they need some feedback from you on that. And that will also lead into the Stony Mountain project, because the water master plan has to contain that information. Then they will be able to give you some update on the plaza project as well. And I feel like there's a 4th thing, and I'm not remembering. But they will present the 4th thing that the engineers are here going to present. So that will
Probably
be
take most of the work.
very big and a very moving forward type meeting.
Excellent. And Jim?
I'm very happy.
Have we talked with the sheriff so they at least go down and look under the plaza at least once a day?
I have not seen it since our goal setting, because that was Friday and today's Monday.
And then
And they
along
didn't go to
with
my
that,
house over the weekend.
homelessness has been a
Sorry.
Big. big topic, but we haven't really done a lot of it lately. When will we be doing more on that, finding out what we're headed toward, what
Yes.
we're gonna do?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, so just so you know, the mayor and I spoke briefly this afternoon about that, but the next step was for me to work with Encompass to get a quote from them to do, what do I wanna say, the facilitator is John Lagarza, and they will be a member of the task force to help get the right agencies, especially in there. And so with that task force is really the next step of this puzzle. The mayor is looking for, do you wanna talk about that part? So we will, so we'll have the task force, and the, Daisha and I have worked with John Lagarza to come up with an application. And so the application, we had some information and feedback about that, but we're not quite done, we're not at a final draft of that. And in addition to, with the application will come a scoring sheet and, find you up there, there you go. Scoring sheet.
Yeah, so, as mayor, it is one of my responsibilities to name people to this task force. So we'll put out an application and make sure that it's widely available through the community. The, task force seems like kind of a rough name for it, but, I guess it gets the job done. But as far, it will have nonprofits and interested citizens and a nice, maybe people that represent different church groups and the food bank, and just try to get a really good mix in there for some good, constructive conversation. And so that will be the first step. So I just don't want anybody to be go forth thinking that we're going to build a shelter or set up a homeless camp or invite RV parking or anything like that. So what we're going to do is discuss what is the best fit for Sheridan and how to move forward. And I guess Jim was next.
I just wondered, if that's being discussed, when will the council hear the whole story of what you've got lined up?
I think that we should always keep the council informed of every step. So the next step will be to form this group. And then, in fact, I would consider having a couple council members help me if anyone's interested in that, and going through these applications once they come in. And a nice thing about it is we've decided that we won't put anybody's names on these applications, and so it will be strictly on the content and what these people want to offer and like that. I personally, what I would like to see is both ends of the spectrum, because I want to hear everybody's point of view, and in hopes that we can come up with a solution to this issue that is palatable to all concerned, and that we're not creating problems, that that we're paying attention, and to do our best to come up with what is best for the people who live here in this community of Sheridan. So any of you who are interested in helping with that, please watch out for these applications and get those filled out and turned in. And so that would be the first thing. So Jim, even before, while we're working on selecting who will serve on this task force, we will look at the council. Maybe, like I said, if a couple of you would like to help me in that process, that would be great. And then once we get that all, down to which nonprofits would be best to help here on this, there's a few to choose from. So let's work on that together so we make the best decisions. And as we make these steps, as we move forward, then let's do present that to the council. Let's come to agreement so that so we can put forward a best result possible.
Sure, because one of my concerns is, it hasn't been on the last 3 agendas, but it's a hot topic, and I think.
It is. And
if we've got something in the works, I'd like to see it brought out, so A, we know about it, and B, the public can also see that we're not just sitting on our hands, making secret plans on something.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And no secret plans. Things are in the development stage right now with the development of the application, so that we can form the committee and reach the most people, and so that should come to the council for review. And then when we reach that point, then and we start to work through it, then every bit of that should come to the council. Yeah.
So with that, is anyone interested in helping the mayor? So it can be up to 2 so that we don't reach a quorum. So is there anybody interested in helping the mayor to provide the scoring? So we will give you scoring sheets.
We have Liz and Kale, that would be perfect. So, you had a question?
Well, yeah,
I saw you right off.
I am signing up.
Okay.
But I also have a question about it, because I don't know if there'd be any conflict if I can also also the one scoring it, I don't know if that'd be a issue, or,
Okay, so would you be, okay, there's a couple of ways, again, that you could serve. So you can either try to serve as a council member, or you could serve as the school district. We do know for sure that we want somebody from the school district, so if the school district decides that that person is you, then that is confirmed, and we know that we'll only get the single application from the school district. So if you wanna go back and talk to the superintendent and the board about that would be really, really helpful to move us forward to figure out who that rep is.
I was just wondering, cause you said the applications would be like anonymous, no names would be on it,
Oh, okay.
but I would know that, I would know if I saw my application.
Mainly aiming that towards like interested citizens who wanna get involved, and then so like that wouldn't be the case with the nonprofits
Yeah,
and the
the
church groups and the
Okay.
school district and, okay, Jim?
This, obviously, since everything's in order, this is just a suggestion, and my thought is that no member of the council should be on this committee, what task force, whatever we're calling it.
Oh.
Because when you get done, you're gonna bring it back here, and obviously one of us, or two of us who are on the committee are gonna be basically trying to prove what they just went through with this group.
So that's, I think, what Kale was, that's kind of what you meant, wasn't it?
Yep.
No, I think,
Go ahead, Liz.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what he's trying to say is we would be feeling some ownership, it might be a conflict of
Yes,
interest to
that's-
be on the committee.
I don't know if it would be
to
a conflict of interest in that sense, but yeah, we
Yeah.
would feel like, oh,
There would be
I
some
went to
sense of
5 meetings and
ownership.
fought with people and got this to look like this, and then,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna get it through the council if I can, and I don't think we want that. I think we wanna look at it with fresh eyes.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
okay,
I agree.
all right, and Heidi?
I think there's always two ways, at least, to look at the issue. I'm looking at it slightly different than you all, I think. And that if you're asking a task force to do a job that you are really leaning into them to do, and you don't have a counselor in there to come back and fully answer all of the discussion items that happen in there, I think that is
I
a
intend to
danger
be there,
of
though.
leaving you out. Right, so the mayor, and I would say at least when other counselors should be in there, they can not be served as non-voting positions, but at least being in the room. I don't think that any one person wants to bear the burden of answering those you may get some really intense questions about what happened in those meetings. So it probably is my recommendation that at least two of you, the mayor and one other council member, volunteers to be in that room for those task force meetings. That's just my 2 cents. There's lots of sense
Give it a
to be
nickel.
put into the.
Okay. All right, anyone else? Okay, so, are you ready, Roxy? Okay, so I am, at this point in the meeting, going to turn this meeting over to our council president, Roxy Aka, because we're about to go into an executive session. And I'm, with some, so both Councilor McElroy and myself, we're just gonna,
We have to abstain
yeah.
from this.
You go to dinner.
We just want to get out of the room. I'm hungry.
Okay, with that being said, the City of Sheridan City Council will meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660 2E to conduct deliberation